All right, we're back with a cable news exclusive at the intersection of both politics, privacy issues, and gender in this country. Is there a double standard when it comes to female politicians and their sexuality? Krystal Ball, a Democratic candidate for a House seat in Virginia. Recently, some Republican blogs posted some what could be seen as embarrassing photos of her at a costume party. I would also look at them as photos of her at a costume party. Among the photos, one showing a sex toy attached to her ex-husband's nose. Outrageous for sure, but in the context of costume parties, I've certainly seen worse. Miss Ball, now 28 years old, and in a powerful op-ed published today in the Huffington Post, she writes, quote, "I don't believe these pictures were posted with a desire just to embarrass me. They wanted me to feel like a whore." She also says that older women of Hillary Clinton's generation, have been telling me that what happened to me could have happened to one of their own daughters. They will not see their daughters called whores when they run for office just because of some college or post-college party. Hear, hear. Joining us now is Krystal Ball, candidate for the 1st District in Virginia. Krystal, can you explain the double standard as you see it?
Sure, absolutely. And thanks so much for having me back to the show, Dylan. I really appreciate it. You know, it's really interesting because this is really not a new thing. I think for years and years, women have been delegitimized and denigrated by being portrayed as whores. And I can't believe that I'm on your show saying that word, but I think that's true. The new twist is that now that we have Facebook, now that so many of us live so much of our lives online, and so much of it is recorded digitally, what does that mean? I think I'm sort of the first person who's had to face this particular thing, but I certainly don't think I'm the last. So part of the reason that I believe this story has gotten so much traction is simply because we have to ask ourselves as a society, as people of my generation, both young men and young women, come of age and decide to run for office, how are we going to handle this particular issue?
And if you could give me a little insight as to your views on the basic culture of the politics of personal destruction, not just in calling a young female candidate a whore, but in calling some other candidate a terrorist, or calling some other candidate, would pick your poison. It all strikes me as a way to avoid dealing with the obvious corrupt nature of the political process, lack of jobs, lack of investment. You and I both know the list of actual problems this country has.
Yep. Yes. And that's absolutely right, Dylan. And I have to say, it's a little bit ironic because a big part of the reason I decided to run for this office, which was not something I ever in a million years thought that I would do, was because I became so personally frustrated with this type of politics, with the absolute triumph of politics over policy, with the mudslinging, with the extreme partisanship, with this politics of personal destruction. I became so frustrated that I decided to step up and run. And now I'm seeing firsthand just what that looks like. But I realized that in this lies an opportunity, because we have a shot to win this race. You are not the only one, and I am not the only one that is frustrated with these types of tactics. And we've seen it in the support that I've received in the community since these photos came out last week. People come up to me and say, you know what, Krystal, you're just a normal person. And what we want to hear about is how we're going to get people back to work. How are we going to work on our education system? How are we going to invest in infrastructure? All of these big problems that we're facing, that's what people want to hear about. We have a shot to win this race on November 2nd. Not just place, not just have a good showing, but actually win. And if we do that, I don't think anyone is going to want to use this tactic again. It's only used and it's only powerful when it works. Here, it's backfiring, and this has turned into an opportunity to say, you know what, if you were young once, if you did something stupid in front of a camera, don't be afraid to run. You know, don't be afraid to get out there. Don't let these people scare you out of serving your country if that's what you want to do.
And to that end, were you to win, can you give us a brief sense of what you view as the core problem of the functionality of our government right now, and how your election may address that?
You know, it's the number one thing that I hear expressed when I talk to people on the left and the right and the center is they are so frustrated with how our political dialogue has really broken down. The extreme partisanship, the fact that something is a great idea until it comes out of the mouth of my rival from the other side of the aisle. Me personally, I come from a business background. I have a business designing educational software, and I really don't care where an idea comes from, whether it's from the left or the right or wherever. If it's a good idea, I'll support it and I'll vote for it. And I think that's the very least that we can ask of our elected representatives.
Well, Krystal, and this is only my view, but I will say whether you win or lose, that the way that you have handled this and your decision to turn directly towards those who would present this to you and truly shoot them between the eyes for the absurdity of their own behavior, I would say is already a tremendous victory, not only for you, but for the way that certainly I think the political discourse in this country should be headed, and I couldn't support you more in that effort, again, regardless of the politics of this matter.